And to campaign 2016, we're just 2 days away from the first presidential debate. Let's get a preview now. Our political analyst is Professor Michael Shires from Pepperdine University. We want to welcome you back to the show. So let's start out with the stakes for this debate.
Well, the stakes are high. Right now, Trump has managed to gain some ground, even though Clinton's been outspending him 6-1 in advertising. And so she really, this really needs to be a reset moment for her campaign. It's all about momentum from here on.
But, she's taken a lot of time off the campaign trail this week to prepare, and she was off a little while ago with the, pneumonia. So what does she have to do?
Well, first, she has to not be rusty, right? She hasn't been in front of the public for a while, but she has to come across as a warm person that people can connect with. She also is going to be looking for ways to trigger Donald Trump and kind of bring out his worst behavior. The fact that she took this time off, though, kind of sets the stakes a little higher for her. People are going to have a higher expectation of her performance.
And while she's been off the campaign trail, Donald Trump, doesn't seem to be preparing as much. He's been kind of casual about it all. What do you think that means for him?
Well, he's had events this weekend, and he can make the case, hey, Vladimir Putin's not going to give her 6 days to get ready. Here I am, I'm ready to debate. He has to be presidential. He has to show up and kind of maintain this era of credibility that I can be your president, and I'm not going to be that kind of crazy guy we've seen show up every so often. And he has to avoid those those attempts by Hillary Clinton to really trigger him.
What about the events in Charlotte? They seem to be setting a new tone. How do you think it's going to affect the debate? Because they have already been talking about the shootings of black men.
Well, they're going to have to respond to it, right? I mean, it's at the forefront of everybody's mind. They're going to have to respond. I'm guessing both candidates already have kind of prepared statements on how they're going to handle that. Don't forget, too, there's been 3 terrorist attacks in the last few weeks. So it's, it's a chaotic time, and there's a lot of issues for them to talk about.
But when we've seen these black men shot, what do you think that they have to do for black voters to gain these black voters?
Well, Donald Trump has been working very hard to try and connect with them. So there's going to have to be an aspect of sympathy. I mean, this is a horrible injustice, and they're going to have to connect with that, but at the same time be supportive of law enforcement. It's a very difficult path to tread.
What do you think these candidates need to do to win the debate?
To win the debate, they have to appear presidential. They have to connect with people, and that's not something either of them are very good at. And so they're going to have to. Bill Clinton was famous for his "I feel your pain," and George Bush was the compassionate conservative. They're going to have to find something in their campaign that resonates with that.
Do you think that it's really going to impact voters' decisions?
Well, it's not the final choice. Those who like Hillary have already decided. Those who like Donald Trump and those who dislike the other have pretty much already decided. But there's a lot of voters in the middle who really don't like either one of them and are choosing between the two of them and even third-party candidates. And so it does have an impact, but what it's really going to do is it's going to set momentum for the next 2 or 3 weeks and for the news cycles of the next 2 or 3 weeks. And that's a lot of free publicity that neither one of them can afford not to have.
And certainly to keep it as good publicity as possible.
Absolutely.
All right, Michael Shires, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And be sure to stay with KCAL 9 News and KCAL9.com for continuing coverage, Campaign 2016.